What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Game On Improve Your Health podcast. Tonight's episode journey is being guided by none other than your host, Austin J, or hallucinodream, if you know him from the gaming community, and his lovely wife, Christina, or the Warden, if you know her from the gaming community. And tonight's episode topic is on gym lingo and misconceptions. Thank you for listening and enjoy the episode. I added to the end. That was great. We're doing this episode incredibly late, so we just want to throw it out there that if you guys are listening to this and you are just listening and listening some more, that's why. So we're going to get into some gym lingo and some misconceptions. I wanted to do this for quite some time now because of the amount of confusion, and that's why we're doing the podcast, is to clear up the confusion. Now, a lot of people like to give information that the average person needs to grab a dictionary for to understand it, or become a personal trainer themselves to understand what is going on and what people are talking about. So we want to clarify some of the gym lingo, and we want to get over some of the misconceptions that might be going around in the gym scene, in the nutrition scene, in the health and wellness scene in general. So
Get started.
We're going to get started. I was going to pass it over to you. I was waiting for you to tell me if you don't want me to.
Yeah, why don't you just start?
Okay, I'm going to start. We're going to start with the lingo. So the first thing, and this, I've seen this a couple of different times and heard of this, is what I really mean, not seeing it, but
He's seen people say this so many times.
Oh yeah. So there are some people who don't know in the gym, personal trainers, people who are seasoned, people, you read it online, everything, they use these gym terms, reps and sets, circuits, and just lost my train of thought.
Like hit.
Yeah, hit, and then the one that starts with a P. Why can't I think of it? Anyways, there's all these Pilates. There's all these other terms that people use, and some people might not know what that means, especially if it's used in regards to a workout. So we're going to just go over the basics of that for those who might not know, and then for those who do know, maybe just a refresher.
Yeah.
So if you're looking up a workout routine, especially if you're starting at the gym, and we've gone over, start slow and all the tips, you can listen to our episodes, but we did not go over the lingo. Maybe you should have done that. Sorry. But you're going to read, especially when you look up online, or if you go talk to a personal trainer, which we have recommended several times, you are going to find workout routines that are split up into days, of course, the work days and then the rest days. And then those days are split up into sets and reps of different workouts. Now, what are sets and reps? The sets are the actual workout that you are doing, right? So, and the reps are the amount of that workout in that set that you are doing. So an example would be 8 reps, or 3 sets.
The example.
You do the example.
So
ones we always do. I was going to do 3-8, but I was doing it backwards. Hey, it's very late.
I know. It's all right. All right. So we'll just keep it super basic. So say that you wanted to do 3 sets of 10 squats. So you would do 10 squats.
Put the reps in there so they can.
So 10 reps of squats. So you would do 10 squats. And then you would more than likely rest. So that would be 1 whole set. And then you would start your second set of 10 reps of squats. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, you're asking me, yes. But if you're asking them, we can wait. We'll be waiting a lot of time.
Yeah.
So that's exactly it. And reps is short for repetitions. So if you remember that, then all you gotta really do is remember repetitions, because sets is short for sets, and you will be able to put 2 and 2 together. That 3 sets of 8 or 3 sets of 10 squats. Whether the reps is in there or not, you know that the 3 sets is the amount of sets of the 10 that you're going to do of those squats. So,
and sometimes there will be some routines that will, again, if you're starting slow, you'll normally have like a rest in between each of your sets.
So sets, all your reps, all your repetitions that you do, your 10 repetitions are all split by generally rest. Now you wouldn't do rest if you were doing a different workout that we'll get into, but generally you're going to want to rest, and that will vary depending on your level of how activity, what you're doing, how long you've been working out, and what your goals are. So that's all going to vary.
And I obviously gave just a super basic example of one exercise, but a set could have multiple different exercises in it, correct?
Yeah.
So like say I was doing squats, forward lunges, and backwards lunges. So if I was doing 10 of each of those things.
Yeah, 3 sets of 10 of the squats, forward lunges, and then backwards lunges.
So you're going to do 10 of each exercise.
Yep. So then you're going to have 3 sets. So you'll have 10, 20, 30 squats, 10, 20, 30 forward lunges, 10, 20, 30 backwards lunges.
Yep.
Right? So in that set, you're going to be doing 90 different movements.
Yep.
So if there's any confusion, please reach out to us and we can explain a little further. But that's generally it. Now, I've heard people, again, I wanted to explain that because I've heard people who they were confused on what exactly they were supposed to do. So instead of doing 3 sets of 10, they just did 30. They just do 30 squats and then called it done with no rest or anything, which is not good, especially if you're a beginner. Your form is going to break down. There's going to be a lot of you're really going to backtrack more than you're going to make progress. So let's try to avoid that. Again, if you're ever confused on something, especially if you're in a gym or people who work out, or just online communities, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, reach out to somebody and ask. If you're looking up routines and stuff, and you're confused on what exactly it's trying to tell you, ask somebody. Say, hey,
don't be afraid to just ask questions.
What does this mean? How this is written out? So I can go ahead and do this. And if somebody reached out to me on one of the social media platforms, I would instantly answer them, and I would go into full detail, and then ask if they had any more questions. They could reach out, to me, of course, as many times as they need to. I'd love to answer those questions for them. But so that's sets and reps, and we'll go into HIIT, which is high intensity interval training. We're gonna go to circuits and supersets. Those are 3 other terms. HIIT would be classified. I am losing so many trains right now. Supersets and circuits could be classified as high intensity interval training because they have less rest, and it's more cardiovascular rest, more rest periods, more cardiovascular. You're trying to get your heart rate up and do more workouts in a period of time. So those who are watching live, we are watching our daughter jump around in the bed right now. She's in a crib.
She's
Sorry,
in a crib,
not a bed. She's in a crib. So little side note, she's hearing us talk about working out, and she remembered that she didn't do that today. So she's
like a little octopus. So she like lifts her pillow up for her to crawl under. And then she like always leaves her stuffed animal behind, but then you just see her arm just like shoot out, and she like
shoot out from under the pillow,
snatches it up, and then brings it under her layer. She likes to bury herself.
She doesn't have the elephant right now. Yeah, the elephant is taking a bath.
So she's probably like, where the heck?
Yeah, probably confused. Ooh. So. But yeah, so we're going to get into, so high intensity interval training. That is a loaded term. There's a lot of different things you can do. CrossFit's one of them. That's HIIT. And then you can do circuit workouts, which would be HIIT, and a variety of other ones. We're not going to get into all the different HIITs you can do. But we're going to get into circuits and supersets. A circuit would be 3 or 4 workouts that you don't do any rest in. So the squats, forward lunges, backward lunges, and then, you can do just those, or push-ups, right? So we want to do 5 of each of those, and then we'll rest for, 10, 15 seconds, right? Or 30 if you're brand new. And that's to get our heart rate up. That's to, build endurance. And that is one of the benefits of doing the circuits, right? So you can keep that heart rate elevated. And supersets is where you have 2 workouts. You can have more than that, but you have 2 workouts where you do these 2 workouts and then you do a rest. So we'll just say the squats and forward lunges. So what you would do in a superset of squats and forward lunges, 3 sets of 10 superset, they would be together. So you would do the squats and then the lunges, and then you would take a break, right? And there's no break in between the 2. Mm-hmm. So it might be a little confusing that it sounds like they're both the exact same, and they sort of are, but supersets is more of you get a break in between the supersets, whereas the circuit is more kind of, it's an active rest where you want to keep moving, keep your heart rate up. So there's another couple common terms.
And you can also make some videos, which
the plan is to make videos,
yeah.
and we will have those. So in the time of this being aired on live YouTube and Twitch and on the podcast platforms, we are going to be traveling for quite some time. So the videos will be, and we will make videos. They will be posted probably October, November. So if you need videos before that, by all means, reach out and we can, I will make a very good quality video for my phone. But yeah, those are some terms, right, that are used very often at the gym. Are there any more that you?
No, I don't think so.
If anybody, those are the 4 main terms that I wanted to go over. If anybody has any other questions on other terms that you have heard, or anything of the sort, reach out to us. We would love to answer them in the follow-up question and answer next episode. So we're gonna hop into misconceptions and stuff like that. We're gonna do that in regards to gym, workouts, fitness, and nutrition. So let's hear it. You got anything?
No, you're going first.
You're super tired. One of the things.
No, I'm just watching our kid.
You're super tired. I see.
I'm not super tired.
One of the things I wanted to talk about as a misconception is there's a lot of women that start working out and they start doing resistance routines. Resistance? Yeah. Wow. Anyways, this episode's good. And they start doing these routines and they become fearful that they are going to gain too much muscle and start looking like they are, quote unquote, bulking up and, getting, shredded, as people would say. And I want to clear the air on that, and that it's incredibly difficult for the female body to be able to do that. The female body wasn't designed by whoever designed it to do that. Okay, and building muscle, females can build muscle, but to get really bulk and big muscles like those bodybuilders do is incredibly difficult, and it's very rare that will happen. So I want to clear the air of that and let people especially people who are just starting, don't let that deter you. Mm-hmm. You can work out and you can do all these workouts, and you more than likely, now there are those exceptions, but you more than likely aren't going to get quote unquote bulk, shredded, however you want to however you want to call it. Do you have anything to add to that?
Well, I think another misconception is that like once you start hitting the gym, especially if you're a woman, because I've gone through those fears of like before we had our daughter, we were doing Spartan races a lot. I was lifting a lot heavier than I ever did. I was running more, and so you do like naturally like I don't want to lose like I felt like my femininity. I didn't want to like get bulky or anything like that. So yeah, it definitely doesn't just happen like that, where I swear like people like you do one crunch and you have another ab, you know. That's, not the norm. So, but something that I feel like also kind of goes hand in hand with that is nutrition. And in order to get that, like that shredded look or like that super lean look, not all the time, but most of the time, it really comes down to nutrition, not necessarily just fitness.
Yeah, I mean, that goes, I mean,
I think
nutrition is
that goes
incredibly
hand in
important.
hand with everything.
Yeah,
but
nutrition is important for every aspect of when you're, lifting and going.
Yeah.
There's a bug flying around if you just saw that. Anyways, it almost went into my mouth. But nutrition is very important. So if you're not eating properly, you really won't gain the muscle that you need to. You might not you might not recover as fast as you need to or want to, and you might not. Contrary to popular belief, well, actually, I want to get into that after this, but yeah. So you just might not make the progress without doing the two. I would say there's a little more aspects in this, but the trifecta is sleep, nutrition, and activity, physical activity. Resistance training being one of the most beneficial. So, what are you looking at? This is my bouncy ball. I'm on my yoga ball. So balancing the three is crucial. So, I like that one. Nutrition definitely goes hand in hand with that. Another misconception I want to talk about that leads into that is that about when you're first starting. This is it's not limited to beginners, people who are just starting out, but there's a lot of people who start going to work out, following a routine. Maybe they're with a personal trainer, maybe they have a friend guiding them, and they're working out and they're working their butts off and they are being consistent, right? But the scale is not changing, or the scale goes up by half a pound or a pound after 3 weeks of going to the gym continuously. And that is okay. One of the things that people don't tell people, or people might not understand or know, is that what you're doing is converting some of that fat to muscle, and muscle weighs more than fat, and muscle takes more calories to maintain. Because so what that means is you burn more calories, just sitting there, just doing nothing, right? Maintaining the muscle on a daily basis, which helps to burn fat as well, part of the metabolism, right? And that's something that people might not understand. And so they'll get on the scale, see that they're not making any progress, and then that will deter them, which isn't necessarily true. Probably are making progress, but you just don't know that information, so now you think you're not. And then that'll deter them from continuing, because you put 3 weeks to a month into it, or even longer, and you're not seeing any progress. But one of my recommendations for that too is don't look at the scale. Scales are not a good determining factor on anything, especially if varying through the day is the worst, because you get on the scale after you eat and you got you haven't digested that food. Now you got whatever food you ate in there, right? Or the amount of water you've been drinking all day, or or you could do it while get on the scale while you don't have that much water, and then it appears as though you'll have lost weight, but it's just water weight. And then the next day you rehydrate, you get on there, and hydration is incredibly important. Yep. So
so I mean, I think to just kind of echo that it is important to, which I've said multiple times, it's important to not make your goals just physical, because of that reason, that if you get on the scale and you don't necessarily see the results that you want, it doesn't mean that you're not headed in the right direction. So, we've taken progress pictures, number one, because again, even if your weight maybe is not changing or maybe it's going up versus down, you still might see a physical difference. You might notice that you're more toned, less bloated, but then
in the pictures you'll realize
right in the pictures you'll realize
that when you're looking at yourself in the mirror every single day.
Exactly. But it's also important to not make them physical, because it's going to be like, well, how do you feel? So like, even though you might not be losing the weight that you initially thought you were going to, do you feel better?
Do you have more energy?
Right. Like, yeah. Do you have more energy? Do you feel like less bloated? Do you have less like digestive issues? Like, are you happier? So those are some of the things that you want to take note of that go way beyond what the scale is going to tell you.
Yeah, I agree absolutely 100% with all of that.
Yeah.
Good. Judging how you feel really is incredibly important.
And that will keep you, because it is easy to, I think, plateau at a certain point. Like, once you've been working out for a little while and you have the body maybe that you want, and like you just feel like you're not making any physical progress, like the physical aspect of it is not going to drive you most often for the rest of your life to continue your journey. And so it's really important to find something that's not physical. And one of like the easiest ways to like knock you down your path is by making it physical, and is by getting on that scale, especially at the beginning. If you're trying to get on the scale like every day, it's not going to help you. It's not going to help you where you need to go.
Yeah, you want to build these habits, and that's a good way to deter you from going, which would crash those good habits. So our recommendation for that is don't get on the scale. The scale is literally, and you can ask any fitness professional, the scale is like awful. It's just not a good determining factor of anything, really. And if you want to get on the scale, do it like very seldom, maybe once every couple months, and do it the first thing you wake up. Wake up, use the bathroom, and try to make sure. So I sleep in just my skivvies, so I would weigh myself in just my skivvies, right? Try that way that the weight every morning.
In case nobody knows what skivvies are, it's underpants.
My skivvies. If you don't know what skivvies are, oh my gosh, let us know, please. Thank you. But yeah, that's the best time to do it, right in the morning, right after you take your first tinkle sprinkle, and in your skivvy pants, and then you can. That's a good way to tell if you're dehydrated too. You'd have to do that daily to know if you're dehydrated because of the fluctuation of weight. But that's going to be your main way, because you're digested, hopefully hydrated, and everything of the sort. So I think those are. Anything else? Any other misconceptions that you want to go over? I'm sure we're going to have a bunch. I mean, there's so many, but I'm sure we're going to have a bunch more that pop up to our mind when we're not doing this at 3 a.m.
And so distracted with our wailing around.
I know, she was raising her hands like she had something to add on. She'll be in the next episode. So.
Yeah, she was like, what?
Anyway, so we'll stop it there. If you have any questions on anything you heard, or you have comments and you want to add to something, by all means, message us. If you're watching live on Twitch or YouTube, it's over here on your left. All of our social media and website. And if you're listening on the podcast platform, it is in the description. And my name is also Jay, hallucinodream. Over here to my left is Christina, or the Warden. And thank you for... Yeah,
those are your
there you go.
descriptions.
There they are over there. Thank you for tuning in and listening, and hopefully we see you guys next week, which I do this every week, so sorry, but next week, September 22nd at 9 p.m. Twitch and YouTube. All right.
Bye.